Ryan McBeth joining us, an open source intelligence analyst. Blaine Holt is a retired brigadier general with the U.S. Air Force, former U.S. deputy military representative to NATO. Great to see both of you. General, let me start with you in terms of the U.S. in operations with the U.S. and Iran. The Trump administration has reportedly sent over this peace plan, a 15-point ceasefire plan to end these operations with Iran. The big headline, obviously, or the takeaway that we know about the 15-point plan, which is not much, to admit that, but we do know no nukes. That from the president, he's been able to reiterate that multiple times. General, talk about this plan, because obviously if you have a ceasefire agreement, you need another side to that agreement, and we haven't had confirmation of that in terms of Iran receiving it.
That's exactly correct. With good reason, we don't know who that other party is. One side note, no more beach walks for John Huddy, please. That's just a force protection statement. But here's the thing. It does seem that through the week's fog, we now see that there is some sort of party emerging in Iran, albeit a classified party, that the president seems to have confidence in, that his team seems to have confidence in. I'm going to guess that that got generated from intelligence on the ground about who these burgeoning leaders in this future revolutionary government are. I'm also going to speculate right now it's probably IRGC, that is now former IRGC, moving to a different side. But the regime, as we know it, would not be the one negotiating with the president at all. They're not going to do that. The president, he said oil and gas related. That means energy related. That could mean a whole lot of things. So he's being very cryptic, and I'm glad he is, because we don't want to get people assassinated that we'd like to work with later.
Yeah, everyone's kind of curious about what that big gift is. Ryan, anything on open source intelligence that tells you you've got oil shipping down the Potomac?
It could be just as simple as Iran saying, hey, we're not going to launch any USVs or unmanned surface vehicles at ships anymore. Although that might be a little moot, because I don't believe there's been any attacks on tankers, at least in the last 7 to 10 days or so. So this might come from the Department of Barn Door Closing in Iran, where they're going to say, well, we won't attack any more shipping, and they don't necessarily have that capability right now in the first place. So it could be something like that, some sort of deal where they're letting energy out of the Strait of Hormuz. But I've often said the energy isn't necessarily trapped in there. It's kind of like opening the door and letting the cat out. If the cat doesn't want to go outside, it's not going to go outside. And there are plenty of ship captains who are in the Strait of Hormuz who are like, we're going to wait this out because it's better for us in the first place.
Yeah, we'd like official commentary from them saying, yeah, we're not going to fire before anybody goes in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. General, let me move to the criticism of the strategy. Former Defense Secretary Jim Mattis making some recent remarks, some call stunning, about the war in Iran during a conference in Houston, highly critical about what he calls a lack of strategy from the Trump administration. Watch.
What we're seeing is a situation where targetry never makes up for a lack of strategy. And by that I mean 15,000 targets have been hit. There have been significant military successes, but they are not matched by strategic outcomes. Now, some of the strategic outcomes early on, unconditional surrender, regime change, we're going to dictate who the next supreme leader is, those were clearly nonsense. Those were delusional.
So you may remember Mattis served during the first Trump administration. He resigned in 2018, policy disputes. General, what do you believe that Mattis is getting at in being critical? Is it a fair criticism? Is it not?
No, it's not fair. It's just sour grapes. And it's honestly very, it's disheartening that some of our retired 4-stars, we've seen 2 4-stars this week and a retired 2-star this week, decide that this is the week, while we're engaged in combat operations on a very valid strategy with Iran, to throw rocks at a president that they don't like, and they're not invited to any of the meetings, and they're not invited to consult. And so for that to play out, the best thing to do is to stand back and just be quiet. Let it play, because you don't have a hand on the stick. You don't have a hand on the plan. Why get in the way? What is that going to achieve or help in any of this? Nothing.
I'm Sean Kreisman. For stories and content just like this, check out National Report weekdays 9 to noon, only on Newsmax.